you're still in college, and then something happens after that sparks your interest in coding. Can you unpack that moment for us?
Yeah. So what happened was after Italy, I didn't want to leave Europe because I felt like I wasn't done. Like my time wasn't done. I hadn't really found myself. So I still wanted to go somewhere where I felt like everyone was completely different from me. And actually, the universe again gave me that. So I went to Istanbul and I met some people there. And I decided to spend some time there.
Yeah.
And while I was there, I met two girls, the first two women that I had ever met, actually, that were computer engineering majors or computer science majors. I don't remember exactly what their major was, but I remember they were just like, yeah, we're computer engineers. And they were like beautiful and they were like friendly and very outgoing. And I was like, oh, what is it that you do? Like, I just got curious about what they were doing. And I knew then, like, I asked a few questions and I knew that they were coding.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, I was seeing a ton of ads for like computer science, like learn to code everywhere that I went online. It was like, learn to code. I think there were a lot of like Code Academy ads at the time, and maybe like General Assembly. And then I just kind of became interested. Again, back to The Alchemist, I felt like they were like omens on my way. Yeah. And my friend at the time had a business, and he was like, maybe you should build me a website because you're always on your computer and you're like really good at computers. And so for context, like a lot of my friends there, they only use their computer for playing music. They didn't really use it to access like the web. They only use their mobile phones. So the fact that I was always on my computer to him was like really impressive. He's like, oh, you can do cool stuff. Like you're one of those people. And he's like, you should build me a website. And I was like, I mean, I'm on my computer all the time, but I can't really do that. But at the same time, I was like, but if I wanted to, like, could I figure it out?
Yeah. So you meet these women. They don't look like engineers. They're outgoing, but in addition to that, they know how to code. And it sounds like that was the aha moment for you. Can you take us back and kind of describe how you felt? Did you know what you were going to do next? And what did you end up doing next?
Yeah. So like you said, I was really surprised by them being engineers because they didn't look or speak or act like what I thought an engineer would speak or act or look like, right? Based off of the media, what we see in the media. So when I met them, I was really shocked and I got really interested. I was like, oh, maybe I could do what they're doing. I don't know. So once my friend asked me to build a website for him, I was like, oh, like, how would I go about doing this? And then I remembered all of the advertisements that I had already seen for learn how to code. Now that I knew like, oh, they're coding, this is what they're doing. All right, cool. Let me try it. So I went on Code Academy and I just signed up, and one of the first tracks was like HTML and CSS. And I just started doing it right away. And right when I started doing it, I made the connection between Code Academy and coding HTML and CSS and MySpace.
Interesting. We love MySpace.
Yeah, I loved MySpace too. Like I spent a lot of time on MySpace, and not even just connecting with people, but trying to make my profile the best profile. Like if any new tool came out, any new widget, it had to be on my profile. Like so I had like a pretty decked out profile. I spent a lot of time on it, and like I thought it was fun to do that kind of work. So I was like, oh, this is what I used to do like all the time. Coding. Oh, cool. Wow. Like people have careers, like people made careers out of this. So what actually happened with me was when Facebook came out, I was looking up how to customize my Facebook like I had done on MySpace. And because I really wanted to do that, like I wanted to continue doing it. But I didn't like find that, obviously, because that's not an option. And I kind of forgot about coding after that, like about customizing things and creating things. So when I made that connection, I was like, okay, like it seems like I can make a career out of this, and there are other programming languages and there are other things I can create. So I can create like MySpace pages, but it looks like I can also create apps and like different things that people can use. And so I was like, okay, this is like, I've always loved like playing with techie things, and now I can like create these techie things if I gain these skills. Yeah.
And then you ended up going back to New York and like just doing the traditional route, or what happened after that?
Yeah, so I went back to New York because I still hadn't finished my actual economics degree. I was missing one class, labor economics.
Okay.
I had put it off long enough, but it was actually my favorite class.
Yeah. Is that like workforce development stuff?
It's more like, how do you compensate people? How do you motivate people? Stuff like that.
Got it.
So that it's fair and that people are like wanting to work for you.
Yeah. We could unpack that later. That's important.
Yeah. So that class was a lot of fun. But while I was taking that class, I started taking other coding classes online. So I went on Udemy. I found the most popular teacher with the most ratings, and I just signed up for his course. There was like a discount code, so it was like $10.
Yeah.
Nice.
We know about those codes.
Yeah. I mean, they're always there, right?
Yeah.
I don't
That's
think
so
people
funny
know
that you say this. We have a lot of people in our community who are like, yeah, like I'm taking this Udemy course. They told me initially that it's a discount and it expires in like a week, but it's still there.
Yeah.
But those courses are great, and
Great
I remember I was taking those courses too. So people who are listening, definitely check out Udemy.
For $10, you could literally teach yourself web development, right?
Yeah. So
It's
I think the
amazing.
Udemy courses are really valuable because like you can go on YouTube and like learn to code, but like the Udemy courses are all like packaged. Like it's a package, like from beginning to end. What do you need to download? What tools do you need? Like where do you start? And like it progresses. So if you find a really popular teacher, you'll probably find like a really good course that will teach you what you need to know. So I went back to finish my economics degree. There was no way I wasn't going to finish when I had like a class left, a semester left. So I went back and I finished it at the same time I was doing this stuff online, just like dabbling in it, not really super committed, just like, I think I want to do this. We'll see how it goes. But I had this degree and like other things that I was also interested in. So when I graduated, I applied to some different jobs. And one of the jobs that I actually ended up taking was in public relations.
Okay.
And that job was awesome because it taught me a lot about like efficiency. It really solidified the fact that I wanted to be in tech and in a fast moving industry that was like forward thinking. Because a lot of the work that I was doing there, I felt, especially when I started learning how to code after that, I was like, there's a robot that could do this. Like there's a machine or like some script somewhere that can do this work. Why am I wasting hours of my life doing this work? Like I was really upset. It was like,
can you give us an example of what you're talking about?
Yeah. So in the public relations and marketing world, a lot of how they make money and how they track their progress is by tracking impressions. So just tracking like how many mentions you got online. So on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, on websites. So every day you're like checking who mentioned that product or company.
By hand, you actually like
go
into the search, Google it or...
Interesting.
So every day I was like on Google seeing the latest news and like the latest mentions. I had like Google alerts set up, and like a lot of people didn't even have Google alerts set up, so they were going in every morning and checking. And then we had to like, we would run campaigns, and every campaign we'd have to go through every tweet, see how many people retweeted that tweet.
Interesting.
Manually. It was
wild.
like, it was so bad. But I think like I needed that job on my journey because it really taught me like you can't have this kind you can't have these kinds of jobs, like you're gonna be miserable. And like and by that point I knew better. Like I knew enough to know that like I shouldn't, no human should be doing like this mind-numbing work.